Hello, this is my video observation number 3. My name is Herman Gonzalez. So this week I was able to do some observations for a 6th grade SDC class. Um, this is it was a large class for being SDC. There was about 16 students, and the teacher told me that there was 3 students that were um, autistic. That was their primary disability, so 3 students with ASD. Um, So in my observation, I was looking at the social competence, um, and the teacher pretty much had stuff implemented and set in place for the class, but she could still improve in some areas. The first part, she did have activities and materials that encourage communication and social interactions between the peers. In my observation, the class was working on a math problem in groups. The teacher was prompting them to work together. They had a problem solve on how to figure out an area and the perimeter using Q-tips and then the stickies. So the students, they were trying to figure out, okay, how many stickies could I use to get a certain amount of perimeter. So the teacher was walking around and prompting the students. I also noticed that they had a social studies project due that they were working on in groups. It was about Mesopotamia, and they each had a part to do for that project. So there are activities and projects where the students are working in groups. As far as key members conducting instructions and prompting them, for to use social skills for students with ASD. They were doing that. Teachers stated that they use social stories and they use prompting during transitioning. The teacher expressed that she had a couple of boys that they were getting in trouble during transitioning time when they were being mainstream into the gen ed classes. So she had the aide walk them in a group, and she would prompt them and reinforce their behavior. Um, as far as the formal peer social network activities, implementing those, students are grouped together in the transitioning time, but I feel that the teacher can encourage more um, of students interacting with each other during lunchtime, especially for those students that do have ASD and they have trouble, I guess, socializing during that time. She did tell me she had 2 students who they're always on their own, and those are the ones that have ASD. So I'm think maybe if she could promote more social lunches so that the students could interact. Um, Looking at personal independence and competence, I thought the teacher did very well. This There was a lot of visual schedules around the class. Everything was posted. The students had iPads where they could log on to Google Class, and she had the assignments that are due. The calendar was also um, synced with their iPads, and at one point the teacher expressed that she had added um, the date where their winter break was going to end. So, the assignments they had to do had to actually, they could go into the calendar and see, okay, this is when we're returning and it's due by that day. Students also know how to log on to their PowerSchool where they could look up their grades and see what assignments they're missing. And it's the same thing with the Google Classroom. They could log on to that, and then they could see their assignments, and then they could check off the assignments they have completed. So, I think all those all those skill, I guess those tools are in place for the students. As far as functional behavior, um, I thought that the teacher was doing a really good job on that. She had 4 students that had BIPs, the behavior intervention plans, and the school psychologist, and along with the SPED teacher, they completed an FBA and then created the BIP during an IEP. So all the behavior intervention plans have been developed with the IEP team and it's part of the IEP. So, I think that's a very good job of having that support for the students for the functional behavior. And she did tell me that all the aides are aware of their BIP, the paraprofessionals. As far as family involvement, the teacher expressed that she does communicate through emails multiple times a week. Some students have behavior charts that parents um, have to sign daily, um, after the teachers have gave the daily report of how the student is doing. She says places a lot of phone calls throughout the week to let the parents know how the student's doing in certain areas of its academic or behavior. Um, Also, the teacher expressed that she had a few parents that were Spanish speaking only, and she was still having trouble with that. The teacher doesn't speak Spanish, and so the paraprofessional translates over the phone, but they still don't have the documents that are sent home translated. She did express that the school secretary was working on translating some of the documents, but she was still waiting on that. So that's somewhere where they could improve more communication with those parents that don't have they don't speak English. So that language barrier, they got to get through that. So that's a recommendation that an area they need to work on. As far as the teaming, I feel like they have a really strong team. The IEP, uh, in the IEP meetings, um, all the specialists are there, the parents, they have a gen ed teacher. They talk about the interventions and the services that they have. Um, the teacher is a case manager, so she communicates with all the specialists, parents, um, teachers, and admins, counselors, to make sure that everybody has their data, the assessments, how they did and how they're doing, and how they've been progressing in their goals and their behavior goals, personal academic goals. Um, and then as far as the paraprofessionals, I feel that there was three of them. They all have, um, they have met the minimum requirements for the units in order to get hired. They must take the district hiring test before they could be hired. Also, they attend district PDs monthly. So every month, the district does provide some type of professional development for the paraprofessionals. As Also, the teacher guides them and shows them how to work with students and what the plan is for the students. So I think as far as the teaming, the classroom did very well. Okay, I hope you enjoy my observation, and thank you.